This morning, cases ignored. The I-Team uncovered an investigation into a Keller Police detective accused of leaving dozens of cases unworked. Kelsey Mittauer is here with the details. Kelsey, you actually found that these cases took place over several years.
Right, and before we get started, I just want to say some of this is of a sensitive nature, and so if there are children in the room. But what we're talking about here is 55 cases that were filed between 2019 and 2022. All of them were assigned to the same detective, Mike Reilly, who worked at Keller PD at that time. And all of them remained open and unworked until they found them this year. In January of 2025, they were doing an audit.
And what do we know about a case that specifically involved a child?
Okay, so this came to their attention in October of 2020. The parents brought their little girl up to Keller PD. She was 9 at the time. She had made an outcry and said that there was sexual abuse that happened to her when she was 7. And so that's when the investigation started in October of 2020, but nothing really happened after that. And just take a look.
We reassigned this case to a current detective, and she reviewed the forensic interview that happened and felt that there were sufficient leads to go on.
Keller Police arrested Clinton Mosley in May, but this woman says it was already too late.
They didn't do their jobs, and that harmed our children.
She says she met Mosley in 2022, 2 years after he was first reported to Keller PD. She considered him a family friend until this year.
I was scrolling through Facebook, and I saw a post of another mom saying, if you know this person, Clinton Wayne Mosley, don't trust him. If you've ever left your kids with him alone, you need to talk to them.
That is when she started asking her own daughters about the man they considered a fun uncle. She says she discovered Mosley had sexually abused her 10-year-old and taken inappropriate photos of her 8-year-old.
I feel sad for all the kids that are affected.
She filed a report in Lampasas County, where Mosley is now facing charges related to child pornography and sex assault. Mosley has not entered a plea in the Keller case, and his attorney did not respond to our request for comment.
Your findings say that there were more children who were victimized because of Detective Reilly's inaction. I mean, what is that like for you?
It's horrible. It's what our job, it's why we're here, is to protect those vulnerable populations and to prevent crime when we can. And this was an opportunity that we could have given justice to this child and prevented others from being harmed. And we didn't do our job.
So let's talk a little bit about why some of these cases stayed open for so long.
Right, and that was obviously the most serious one of them, right? When it all came to their attention this year, and they asked the detective, why are these cases sitting open? Because he had promoted out of the unit at that point. He's not a detective anymore. He said that there were a variety of reasons. He said some of them were complicated and he wasn't sure how to close them. There was a high caseload at the time. Every detective had a lot of cases. And then he said that none of it was challenges during the pandemic. Because you got to remember, this is 2019 to 2022. So there was obviously,
right in the midst of everything.
Exactly. A lot of problems, he said, contacting people. And so all of that, the chief said they were reasons, like they were things that they could have worked through, but not reasons to not do the job.
So then let's speak to the chief specifically. What were those reasons? And then also, what role did the chief potentially play in that?
Well, I mean, obviously there are a lot of levels, right, between the chief and the detective. He talked about there was a real lack of specificity in their processes where the chief had already come in and implemented these weekly case updates, right? So he was getting, he thought, updates every week on cases starting in 2022. But what he didn't realize was that there were allowed to be cases that fell through the cracks. So now what he's doing is, in addition to the weekly case updates, he's asking, what is the oldest case per detective? Like each detective, what is your oldest case? Why is it still open? What are we doing to work it and to close it? He's also implemented new audits twice a year for everybody to go through, because that's how this was caught, right? In January, an audit of all cases showed these just laying out there.
Timelines, yeah.
Right. And then he also said that when a detective leaves the unit, like happened in this case, there's going to be this plan of, okay, what do we do with that detective's cases? Because in this case, he was allowed to leave the unit, hold on to them, thinking he was going to work them. That didn't end up happening. And so he ended up resigning.
Yeah, and accountability is a lot of what y'all do on the I-Team, asking the questions, trying to figure out what processes are now in place to figure out how these problems won't repeat themselves.
For sure.
Kelsey Mittauer, thank you so much. By the way, if you have something you want the I-Team to look look into. The I-Team works for you, so reach out to them at the phone number on your screen, or you can email them at iteam@ktvt.com.